Hey everyone, this is the LEGO City Cargo Terminal set for 2017. At first glance, to me, it looks like a big old bundle of classic styled cargo slinging fun. Let's take a closer look at some of the elements and see if it's able to hold on to my interest and earn yours. I'll start with the truck because it's the big thing and kind of ties everything together and is able to hold on to these containers, which have different types of cargo in them, and I'll show you how the whole container system works. They've got nice articulation between the cab unit and the rear trailer. It's got a ball joint for the hitch and then a large turntable under there, so it's nice and smooth. All the tires are in full contact with the ground all the time. You don't have to worry about any strange suspension system to make sure the wheels are able to angle properly. You know, it just works pretty well. There are some funny little colored pieces that show up a little bit unnecessarily, like the green and the blue down there. I don't know why I had to see that. You know, just some of the pieces that they use in constructing the interior of some of these elements, but it's not that big of a deal to me, fortunately. This is a lower end city set, so it really needs to have a lot of focus on ease of builds, and the instructions have to be very, very straightforward for younger kids. You know, this cab looks nothing special. It could have been made last year, a couple years before that. You know, it's just kind of the modern standard stuff in terms of their build and everything, but it has everything that you can ask for. A decent amount of detail on the front. They added the kind of push bar there, but everybody likes the opening doors, even if they're not really useful. You can't really access the figure from there, but it's nice to have them. It's nice to have that door handle there in place. It's easy to get access, real human access, into the cab by just taking the entire roof sub-assembly off. That has a single sticker on the top of it. And most importantly, this does have a spot for a coffee mug, and they include a coffee mug for the driver. Very important for the health of LEGO City figures, since they basically live off coffee. And the driver's seat is offset to one side rather than being straight down the middle. So that makes for a nicer look. I like the thing, you know, it just has all the basic stuff that you kind of need and can ask for. These containers are all of the same size, and they're actually not attached with any studs right now, which makes them easy to lift off with the Telehandler, which has a hook at the end of it, and we'll see that a little bit later on. Each of these is made in the same basic style, but there is one that is the LEGO branded one that's just slightly different. It doesn't have the corrugated style ends, because so far they haven't done this nice corrugated steel style piece in yellow just yet. They've done it in blue, so we get a couple of these containers in blue, and they've done it in black and also olive. So here it is in olive. Nice to get those parts. It's nice to have easy access to, you know, taking these things off and putting them on. However, the one bad thing there is that because these are not connected, it's very easy for you to accidentally grab the truck wanting to pick it up or something, and you just grab the containers instead. So to pick up the whole thing is just something you have to get used to. You cannot just grab this by the largest mass of it. You have to grab it from the cab or down beneath at the chassis or the wheels. So here's the Telehandler now. I like its overall proportions. Just the initial impression is very, very good for me. Overall, it looks pretty proper, except for the very obvious gearbox in the back. It's just very exposed, and because it's made clear, it just makes it super obvious what it is and doesn't really allow any suspension of disbelief there. It just is what it is. You know what though? It works really well. It just has the worm gear train in it, which allows you to raise and lower the main boom of this thing, which is the main thing that you're going to be doing with it. You do need to really place the hook very carefully. So let me go ahead and bring the trailer into the picture with some cargo. So it looks like this needs to go up just a little bit more, but it also has an extendable boom that'll extend out right about to there. You can take it too far and then it'll fall out completely because it just has a regular Technic lift arm there. But this is nice and smooth. Just look at that. Yeah, I think that almost completely makes up for being able to see the gear. And for a lot of kids, it's actually going to be interesting and exciting to watch those gears move, possibly educational. So, you know, there's some pros and cons for that. I think that the pros outweigh the cons in this case. You're going to want to come onto this thing from the side directly, or wherever the hoop is and where it's facing. But look at this. You can actually get that lined up. It worked. It actually worked. If you're careful, you can get it to work. If you're not patient, and usually I'm not patient enough, you're not going to get that to be set up just properly, and you have to bring in a second hand just to line up the hook. But I'm doing this. Oh, there it goes. That's great. I love it. Just using, the features of the set itself. You can bring it out, take it to wherever you're going to go with this thing. Pull this away, just take it out, wherever it's going to go, and then end up just dropping the thing back down to the ground. Let me see if I can actually drop it fully. That's where things start to get really dicey. It's more difficult to get the hook to come out than it is to get it to go in. So there, I'm just going to go ahead and cheat a little bit. But this telehandler, man, it works. It just works. It makes me happy. Even though it has some visual flaws to it, it makes me happy. Gives you easy access to the cab over here. You just pull that back. The figure comes in and out more easily than it looks like. He doesn't have to come straight up. It's pretty straightforward, the cab itself, but it's nice. I like the 4-wide style there, which just leaves them enough room using the panel pieces here. This is good stuff. And then they have this forklift for handling the pallets that are actually inside of each container. This is nicely designed. I like the different uses of parts here, the different shaping than you normally see. It's a good combination. The only thing I don't like about this is the angle of the roll cage. I personally think it looks so much better like this. If only there was just a piece, add in a piece or two to kind of fill in that gap at the front of the roll cage a little bit. This just feels better to my eyes. This isn't bad. It's probably just a personal thing, but I'm just used to those roll cages being, fairly straight up like that. If you prefer that, you can just leave it up. It's very simple and easy. I think it looks respectable from all angles. Let me, also has a spot for the coffee mug. Unfortunately, there's no spot for the coffee mug in the telehandler. So I guess that is one thing that I'll have to ding the telehandler for, genuinely. But easy access to the figure seat here. Has a single control stick on one side. I guess it's supposed to be a more modern one where all the controls will be built into a single stick. It's got the steering wheel. It's everything you can ask for. A real seat behind there. Let me actually give this thing a try, see how it really works with the cargo pieces. So I unloaded that container, and now I want to take the pallet out of it. So pushing down here, this is one of those not spring-loaded but rubber band-loaded ones. And you just line it up, get it in there, nice and neat. Make sure it's in all the way. Let it up just enough, start pulling it out. They give you plenty of clearance on every single one of these. And just make sure that you don't let go with your finger, or don't let your finger slip, because if you do, geez, somebody's gonna pay for that. So there's just one other feature I think that I should let you know before I get away from the scene of this crime and pretend like somebody else did it. You can lean the whole rig back. It leans back quite far because of the spacing of those hinge pieces, but it is something that you can do that forklifts really do in real life. So it's nice that they have that in there. So it's just an option. And here is a pallet rack. This is a stacking facility to allow you to put more pallets into a smaller space than normally expected. A lot better than just leaving them on the ground. This is something that would be used in a warehousing scenario or something. I love those girder style pieces, the parts with the cross members on them, especially in yellow. We don't get those a whole lot, especially these days, and you get a bunch of them in this set. I think they look really good. I think they're really useful for doing custom builds as well of all different sorts. And they're typically expensive, so it's nice to get them in a set where the overall price to part ratio seems pretty reasonable. The way this works is you get pallets out, and just get some prepared off screen here, being careful not to let go of that ridiculously stiff rubber band on the forklift this time. And I'll just dump this one off down low. See, this really works. This thing is really good for for play. I wish there was just a little bit more weight on this whole structure so that it would hold itself in place a little bit better if you touch it, but it's not a big deal. And bring the last one in. Is there enough room? Yes, there's just enough clearance. And just let that down. Yeah, and you just stack stuff up and just keep stacking and stacking, and you can hold a total of 4 pallets, which is exactly how many pieces of cargo are included in the set. Here's a better look at just the cargo. Starting from the left is one lightly used jet ski water scooter thing. Lightly used. Yeah, it's small. It's about as basic as it can get, but it'll actually work with a figure. However, like I said, lightly used. Let's just get this out of the way because I don't think anybody wanted that anyway. Moving on, this excites me a lot more. I'm sure a lot more people will want this. It's a pallet full of Lego. These things should probably be better protected from the elements. Some folks like to, you know, save Lego sets and keep them long term or resell them or something. They want the packages to be in good shape. And, you know, accidents sometimes happen in cargo yards. Not my cargo yards, but in some. So, you know, you might want to consider doing a little custom work to protect these packages better, but it's always great to get, you know, Lego sets in Lego scale. And those are all prints too, not even stickers. Here is a ride-on mower with no attachment on the front of it, but I think it's really cute. I think it looks really cool. I like the color scheme. It's so basic, but it has personality, you know? Looks like it wants to go. And of course you can sit a minifigure there. You got the 4 studs. Pallets, attachments are attached to a different pallet over here. And they actually have 2 different attachment options. The first one is the regular mower deck, which has 3, you know, blades, or sets of blades on the front. These just clip on to the front. Very difficult for me to do this. All of this with just one hand, but there we go. There we go. And that's set up and good to go. And then the other attachment is a dozer attachment, which could be used as a proper dozer for moving around dirt, or I think it would probably more likely be used for leaves or snow. And it works especially well as a snow plow because it does have a hinge on it to allow it to turn side to side. So you can use this later on. You know, this is a summer set. Use this in the winter in a park scene or something. You know, do a little city park maintenance. I like it. The final build is a security booth, you know, for the main entrance to the cargo handling yard. You can raise and lower the boom that has a sticker on either side, so it can be used for ingress or egress. I really like this thing. I think it's one of the better ones that they've done to date because it has all the normal stuff with the gate itself, you know, roof over the thing. It's got a door on one side for access. It's open on the back for us human huge figures to get access in there. But it also has this sliding window, which is perfect. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. It's exactly the type of thing that I want to see there. And they have some accessories for doing a little work around the place, a little maintenance. They've got the walkie-talkie there, which is the newer version of that. The wrench and the broom. That's so classic. Reminds me of one of the first Lego sets that I had as a kid. The city, I forget the name of it now. I'll remember it later. But look inside. Coffee maker, coffee mug, another coffee mug, a cookie or biscuit. And there's a security screen in there as well. There's a sticker right there, but nice. This is so cool. What more could I ask for here? Maybe a little bit more detail I could ask for, but I won't because I'm not going to be too greedy. They even make it fairly easy to remove the entire roof to get even easier access in there because this is, you know, most of this is one piece here. It just works and it looks good. I think they've done a good job designing this set. I think this figure selection is great. There are no shared heads, no shared headgear pieces, no shared torsos, no shared legs. These are fully interchangeable. You can, you know, replace things very quickly and easily, and it all makes sense. These can be used outside of this theme. They didn't bring in any cargo hauling company specific logo or anything, you know, that would directly identify these as being attached to a specific theme, so they can be used in other themes, they can be used in the future. It's just exactly what I want to see out of minifigs in a regular Lego City line. Oh yeah, there's also a hand truck, or dolly, because there's always a hand truck, or dolly. This set costs a pretty penny. You know, it's not cheap. But when you look at other sets with a similar price to part ratio, and or at a similar price, or within a similar price range, I feel like this, relatively speaking, gives you just a tremendous amount of play value and just adds a lot to an actual city. So many kids like to play with cargo and have for so many decades, centuries probably. It's just a very universal thing, and I think they've implemented it well here. It's totally designed for play, as it should be, but I think that all of the elements also look very good and would look exceptional with not too much modification. So I think that this actually works pretty well for a lot of different types of potential customers, potential buyers, and I'm happy with it. The only thing that I really particularly dislike is the specific rate of rubber band that's included for this forklift, which just continues to be too stiff, much too stiff. You have to push down too hard. Especially, I can just imagine, like, what is the minimum age they recommend on this? A 6-year-old kid trying to push down on that thing with the little finger, just pling, off goes the cargo again. I think they should try to find a different rubber band to use for that. That'll be a little more civilized. There you go, Cargo Terminal 2017. Let me know what you think about it by leaving a comment down below. Hope that you enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed having a look at it and sharing it with you. I'll talk to you again soon.